Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak, or more accurately, I should say, vent. In my old age, I'm getting a lot less diplomatic, if I ever was. But first, I also want to welcome Sam to the fold, I guess. I, too, have attended several sessions at the center and have enjoyed the discussion. And it's nice to greet another NGO in Washington that is interested and concerned about the question of Ukraine and U.S.-Ukraine relations. And I must say, he stole part of my remarks, because those of you who are my age might remember the movie Network, where the guy gets up and says, "Stop, I'm mad as hell, excuse me, Father, and I can't take it anymore." Well, this is where I am. I can't take any more about this obsession, East versus West tilt of Ukraine. And we've seen that, and Sam's already articulated very well. A lot of the articles give passing credit to Ukraine for this free and fair election, while wallowing in this question of, did the Kremlin win, or was this a loss for the Western US-backed, inspired, funded Orange Revolution? Bunk. The evidence is clear and consistent. The people of Ukraine have once again demonstrated that they are seeking democracy. On February the 7th, almost 69% of the registered voters came out in frigid winter temperatures, as several of our colleagues have already described. Not the best of conditions to get anywhere, to cast their ballots in what has been judged to be the most fair and transparent election to date. And again, as has been the case in every election, most of post-election analysis goes to this question of, who won. It is time to recognize that the people of Ukraine have already done the hard work, proving time and time again that they are making the transition from tyranny to freedom. How many more election cycles is the West going to have to wait to see if Ukraine has made its choice? Let's look at the data, and not just the vote. The voters in Ukraine are not possessed of this East-West struggle. Recent surveys conducted by IFES show that the top 3 issues Ukrainians want the next president to address are jobs, 71%, reducing inflation, I can't see, they're lights, 56%, reducing corruption, 48%. The highly charged, politically sensitive issues most discussed in the West, almost like a parlor game, are of low concern to the people of Ukraine. Gas situation with Russia, 17%. Status of Russian language, 9%. EU relations, 3, NATO, 1. The results in this election were very close. They elected Viktor Yanukovych with about 49% over Yulia Tymoshenko at 46%, or whatever the numbers are. The fact that Mr. Yanukovych did not obtain a majority invites further look at what the messages were sent by the people of Ukraine. Interestingly enough, both candidates, according to surveys, had negative ratings above 50%. Now, in this country, I think if a candidate has negative ratings over 50%, they don't run, because there's no point. Yanukovych, I think, had 55% negative and only 42 favorable. Tymoshenko, 67, with 30 positive. I think Viktor Yushchenko had 83 negative. So the election provided no mandate, and certainly some voters cast their vote for a candidate with whom they were not enamored. Indeed, as has been mentioned, in Ukraine you can go out and vote against both candidates. And the fact that almost 5% of the people went out in the cold, falling down icy streets, to cast their vote against both candidates. One of the poignant pictures was this picture of 2 ladies helping, I don't know whether she's 70 or whatever, election, was she voting for the Russian language? No, I don't think so. So what we see in the election is that the Ukrainian voters take seriously their responsibility to go out and vote, even if they are not enamored with their candidates. So they're both committed to their responsibilities and discriminating in their choices. At its core, civil society in Ukraine is maturing, fed by the freedom it gained in 1991. Ukraine has a rich history and culture which we need to review and be reminded of. You know, those of you who know me know that I have not, in the 20 years I've been working with the foundation, I don't normally write. I did write a piece in January because I'm fed up and I can't take it anymore. But Gorbachev and President Bush misunderstood what was happening in Ukraine in 1991. I say to you that Putin and the West are not understanding what is going on in Ukraine and Ukraine's civil society. You know, sometime in the future, we're going to welcome the next president of Ukraine to Washington. We don't know the date. We don't know whether it's going to be a state visit or a working visit. I suggest it should be a state visit. It was one of my main criticisms against the Bush administration, that no president from this part of the world received a state visit. So we don't know any of that. But we can wage any amount of money on one thing. He will make the obligatory stop where? 22nd and P, Northwest. Right? He will lay flowers and he will make a speech. Now, I called several people to get the exact quote of what's written on the back of the monument. I couldn't get it. So yesterday, after the tribute to Roman Kopczynski, I drove to the monument. Now the snow is not plowed near Shevchenko Monument to find out what's printed there. Well, there are the two verses from Caucase. But on the side, you can hardly read it for some reason, but there is engraved actually in Ukrainian. So there's no misunderstanding or misinterpretation what is written there. And what does it say? When will Ukraine have its Washington with fair and just laws? And someday it will. This was before Western assistance. This was before CIA. The words are clear. Fair and just. How profound. And I really appreciated Sam's discussion about the meaning of democracy, because here again, the people of Ukraine are ahead of their leaders. Recent surveys show that they don't feel that they're living in a democracy as much as they did before. Why? Because their understanding of democracy has deepened. It's not just about free speech. They list at the top just applicable laws. Fair and just laws. This is something that the people of Ukraine have wanted for centuries, not just since the Orange Revolution. And I think it is time for everybody to remember this and to understand it. And now that we have what some believe to be a pro-Russia, or at least Russia-neutral president in Ukraine, that will not get in the way of the West's re-engagement with Russia, that we give Ukrainian people their due and their support to achieve what they have already told us time and time again. It is important that we engage with civil society and help them achieve the choice that they have made. Thank you.